A massive data breach may have exposed the private information of thousands of institutions and hundreds of millions of students across the nation. The learning management system, Canvas, was the target of a cyber attack that affected anyone using the site, including students at Jackson College. News 10's Braden Willis is here in studio to explain.
And it gets exponentially worse every year. And it's probably just going to continue to happen because we are so dependent on different online service providers.
Michigan's institutions of higher learning are investigating after a major cyber attack on the educational system Canvas. Instructure, the company that owns Canvas, says the attack stemmed from an initial breach they detected on April 29th. Several schools in Michigan were affected by the attack, including Jackson College. The company confirmed that names, email addresses, student ID numbers, and private messages were exposed in the attack. But there is no evidence yet that sensitive information like passwords, birth dates, government IDs, or financial information was accessed. Tom Holt, a criminal justice professor at Michigan State University, says if you used Canvas,
the one thing that you can do is be more cognizant of the passwords that you might use, or using the same one across multiple platforms. So as an example, if your bank account password is the same as your Canva password, well, then you should really change one of those quickly.
In a statement, Jackson College says they are urging students to stay alert for unsolicited emails, text messages, or Canvas messages, especially any asking for login credentials.
Most data breaches of large organizations start either through some kind of compromise, phishing, or other kinds of means to get inside.
That was Braden Willis reporting. Instructors say Canvas is back online and available for use, but as of today, some institutions may still be suffering from outages. Jackson College was on a break between semesters when the attack happened, but some schools lost access to Canvas in the middle of finals week. Affected students should turn to their school as a first point of contact for any updates.